Rachel is learning how to make chicken Alfredo. I am going to make sure she is in an environment where she feels safe and loved, as in the psychological needs of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. She's in the level stage of Erikson's psychological stage 6 of intimacy and love. I will be there to make sure she's learning and does not have a fixed mindset. Okay, so first what we want to do before we start cooking is to wash our hands to ensure that we don't spread any germs. First, we will open the raw meat with scissors. Then we will carefully remove it from the package, but it is frozen solid, so we'll have to go about another way to thaw it. Then we must be careful how we treat the raw meat, because it can cause germs to spread if not careful. Rachel learned two valuable lessons as we prepared the raw meat. First, she learned that it is wise to set out frozen meat the night before, so it may have time to defrost. Secondly, she learned how to handle the raw meat and avoid touching it with other objects in the kitchen. If it were to touch another object, we would simply wipe it with a decontamination wipe that will take up the germs. Hopefully, our raw meat will be defrosted.
We're going to cook the pasta while the meat is defrosting because it was taking longer than we thought. So, first what you need to do is not open up the bag, but look at the back. We're going to cook a full bag of pasta. So we need 7 quarts of water and 4 tablespoons of salt. So let's get everything out. Okay. And then basically what I'm going to have you do is fill up each of these things.
As we cooked the pasta, Rachel learned that it is important to ask questions to better understand what the teacher is asking. As she asked these questions, I guided her in a method called scaffolding, so she may apply her knowledge of what I'm saying, and then I may be there to help her. As I teach Rachel, I make sure she does not have a fixed mindset by keeping her involved in the process and comfortable in her environment.
Do you want it all the way full or? Yeah. Okay, now you're going to turn the burner on to 10 so we can wait for the water to boil.
This.
Yeah.
All the way to 10?
Yes, all the way to 10.
So
It'll
that's
go
high.
faster.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Now we're going to cut up the meat. Hopefully it's defrosted now. It feels pretty good to be able to cut this. Could you give me a fork, Rachel?
Yeah.
So now, all you have to do is cut this into nice pieces. And once that starts boiling, oh, we need to put salt in it. Could you get 4 tablespoons of salt and put in the pot, Rachel, please?
Yeah, someone probably needs to watch.
You watch it. And when it starts,
4 tablespoons.
it's not going to start boiling yet.
Rachel turned the dial to 6 to prepare heating up the chicken.
So all you're going to do is cut off and pour it in.
Okay.
All of it.
As you can see, Rachel is pouring in the pasta to the boiling water and stirring it to ensure that she knows how to do it. Again, we see the method of scaffolding as I watch Rachel and make sure she doesn't need any help, as she goes about preparing the meal.
And now you need a spoon.
Also, when Rachel prepares the meal, she is going out of that fixed mindset and into a growth mindset so she can do this in the future.
Now I'm going to start frying the meat once this heats up and whatnot. But all you have to do is keep it in there and then move it around and it'll be okay.
Okay.
So that's what you have to do.
As you can see, I am instructing Rachel on how to cook the meat.
Okay, so what you're going to do is just move it back and forth as it starts to heat up, and you'll see where it's starting to turn white and whatnot, and you want all the pink to be gone and out of the meat.
Okay. I'll switch you then. You can stir the pasta.
As you can see, Rachel has mastered stirring the pasta to make sure it does not stick. She told me what to do in this situation, and then I instructed her on a new method of learning.
What you want to do is you need to wash up your dishes. You need to use hot water and stuff to make sure you clean up after the raw meat.
Okay.
Thank you, Brandon.
As you can see, I'm using the scaffolding method to help Rachel again. I told her what to do and instructed her, and now she is doing it. But if she needed help, I would be able to guide her in any way she needed. I remember her being extremely worried about washing dishes with raw meat on them, because our mother had always instructed us not to touch anything that was raw meat because of contamination purposes. So I helped her gain a growth mindset in this area instead of a fixed one. As you can see, Rachel's overall fixed mindset for raw meat has become a growth mindset as she continues to work with it and have more experience. Rachel is giving me advice on how I should help her learn.
Aren't you supposed to talk?
Oh yes, put it in. You can just put it in the sauce and mix it in with that,
Okay.
and then we're going to heat up the sauce and with the chicken.
Mhm.
So that's
Sometimes the teacher learns more from the student than the student from the teacher.
okay. Now you're going to stir it up, and so the chicken is coated with the sauce, and as it heats up, to give it a more creamy effect.
As you can see, I employed the method of scaffolding again. Rachel was not comfortable in pouring the noodles, so I did it.
We're pouring this into the strainer so we get all the hot water out. You do it. Be careful. Like,
Could you hold it? We finished!
yay!
During the second video, I taught Rachel how to make chicken Alfredo. At first, she had a fixed mindset, but through the method of scaffolding, which involved me first telling her how to do the task at hand, then, as she did it, I would give her instructions, or tell her when she was doing something wrong, or answer her questions when she asked them. Then, this led to a growth mindset in the areas of cooking and preparing raw meat, as well as cooking in general. Then, beforehand, I made sure that her Maslow's hierarchy of needs were met. First, her psychological ones, her social ones, her safety needs, her self-esteem needs, to make sure she would become a more self-actualized person in the areas of cooking raw meat and cooking in general.